Well, howdy, everybody. This is Granny with Granny and Grumpy's Homestead. And the last video or so back, I told y'all that I would explain to you why Grumpy and I are not going to be moving and why we took our house off the market. You know, we've been living here a little bit over a year. And when we initially bought the house, it was supposed to be a dream house for us to retire in and not to, ever have to move again. And so we were pretty grateful. And as time progressed, we had spent so much money on the house that we realized that we wanted to be completely out of debt. We had decided that since all our kids had moved in different directions and were gone away from us now, that we would move so that we could be closer to them and visit more often. That's what our plans were, that to get our credit card debt gone and to be able to visit with our kids, grandkids more often, we would move somewhere different. So we put the house up for sale. Off and on from the time that we decided to do that, we were going to do that, I'd have these little thoughts here and there. I'm not going to sell your house. I did not give you this house for you to sell. And that would be all I would think, that thought would come in my head. And I thought over time, that's really odd that I keep having these thoughts off and on. It's really crazy. That what happened was on August the 6th, we had laid down to go to bed that night about 9 o'clock, and he fell asleep almost instantly, and I couldn't seem to fall asleep. And so I said to God, I said, well, I just don't understand why I can't sleep. And this thought immediately came back to me. I want you to get up, go to the living room, pick your phone up, and I want you to start watching this video. I thought, I'm really losing my marbles. I need to be taken to the hospital, to the psych ward. After laying there for a couple more minutes, I finally decided, nope, can't do that. I'm gonna have to get up and come in here to the living room. So I sat down in the chair, picked up my phone, and commenced to opening up YouTube. For 2 solid weeks, when I would sit down to look at a homesteading show or whatever, this would pop up on my phone. It was from Pavel Goya, who is a minister of the gospel. He would have this 9-part seminar that was called Paradigm. And so, I don't know, I reckon in the back of my mind it just kind of sounded boring, and I just never would click on it and watch it. So that night, when I go to sit down in my chair, lo and behold, I turn YouTube on, and what is in front of my face? Paradigm. And I said to God, I said, is this what you're wanting me to watch? And the immediate thought was, yes, it is. So I thought, wow, this is 9-part series. This is going to be a long watch. There's no way I can do this all tonight. And the next thought was, you're not going to watch all of it tonight. Just watch the first 2, and you'll watch 2 every night after that till it's finished. Okay, now I really am needing to be taken to the psych ward, because now I am just really flipping. So I go ahead, I turn it on. The first one is all about how to reach your neighbors, how to make bread, to talk to your neighbors about Christ. Ask if you can pray for them. And so I cried through the first one almost the whole way. And I thought, that's amazing. But while I am actually listening to this, I'm being pummeled with tons of thoughts that are coming through my head. And the thoughts are this: I am not going to sell your house for you. You need to take it off the market. I did not give you this house for you to sell. I gave you this house for ministry. And there's a lot of people who live on your road, and they need encouragement, they need help, they need love. And so I paid attention, listened to the next one, part 2. And the thing that God said to me was, Pavel Goya is my man, and I want you to listen to what he says, because what he says is what I want you to do. I want you to actually put into practice everything he talks about in the whole 9-part series. I'm sitting there thinking, I really am losing my marbles. But, I sit there, I argue with God, I tell him, I don't understand. Why do you want me to do this? And why can't we move? And Grumpy's not going to like this because he had all its plans now of what he was going to do after we sell the house. Strange thing was, for 6 weeks we tried to sell our house, and not once did anybody make us an offer. We had many people look at it. The realtor that we had said our house should sell really fast, that people love that school, and not a soul made an offer. So day after day comes, I watch more of Pavel Goya, and the whole time I'm listening to him, the Lord's giving me thoughts, just constant thoughts. And I'm hearing everything he's saying, and he keeps telling me, I want you to listen to his series over and over and over. I want you to implement it to the T. I want you to do as he does. And I said, but I don't want to do this. On Thursday night, instead of watching two of the videos, he has me to go get something in the house. I get up out of the chair and I go find what it is that he was wanting me to look at and to use. And when I get back and I sit down, lo and behold, instead of it being the next one of the videos in the series, it's a whole different Pavel Goya. And I said, did you want me to watch this or what I was watching the series? I want you to watch this right now. So I turn it on, and I was amazed, truly, truly amazed. It was all about putting into place a ladies' prayer group. And I said, are you wanting me to put a prayer group together? And the thought was, yes. And he said, but it'll only be 4 people. I said, what? I'm going to completely nuts, you know. And he says, no, he says, you're not crazy, you're not nuts. This is what I want you to do. And I said, well, who am I supposed to ask? I don't know who to ask. He says, well, what I want you to do is I want you to ask, and he named the other 3 ladies. And I questioned him about 2 of them. And he just continued to say, I want you to get these 3 ladies to start praying with you. And make haste, do not waste any time, because I am coming much sooner than what you thought. And so, it's okay. So, the next night I finished the series out. And doing all of this, the Lord had told me he wanted me to approach the Wilson Seventh-day Adventist Church to be their Bible worker. And I said, what? I've done that before, and it was the hardest job I've ever done in my life. I mean, it's even harder than YouTube. No, I'm not doing it. And he says, well, I thought you wanted me to answer prayers. He says, for 46 years, there's certain prayers you've been praying, asking for me to answer. And he says, if you do as I ask, you will get to see things answered that you never thought you'd see, but I can't do it unless you listen. And I said, I reckon you're right. And so it took me a few days to finally decide I would go to the church and ask them, because before, when I was Bible worker, it was very, very hard. But he told me not to worry, because he said, when you did it before, you did it the wrong way. This time you'll do it Jesus's way. So I immediately talked to Bob. By 2 days, he accepted all the ideas and thought that they were all great. He watched some of Pavel Goya. He was very excited, actually, about some of the things he saw. And the strange thing was, I got approved by everybody. Everybody was all on board and very excited about it. Of course, there's days when I still think, boy, were you nuts. But I really love what I do, because I love talking to people. And I love praying. This is the perfect job for me. I make bread, and I take them a tiny loaf of whole wheat bread, and it's been an amazing experience so far. Now, having said that, we took our house off the market, but we had, in this woman's prayer group, we had put up a prayer. My son-in-law, he worked at a certain place in Florida. And that place was bought out by another big chain store. So he was about to lose his job. So when I found that out, I took it to the women's prayer group. I said, we need to ask God to move them down to a specific area where I wish that God would honor our prayer and move him. And his parents live in South Boston, Virginia. And they are starting to get up there in age, and they don't get to see David's family very often. Bob and I have been closer to them because, you know, we're younger and we've been able to go more and visit more, and them come to visit us, and I took care of them a lot when they were little. So David liked his job in Food Line. But there was a problem there, that he couldn't get over. He had been there for 10 years. And so I asked God, I said, would you send him to work at a Food Lion in South Boston, Virginia? Now, I didn't know whether they even had a Food Lion in South Boston, but they did. And so Tyler's going to tell you the rest.
Hey guys! Granny and Grumpy have only made a couple videos in the last couple months. And the reason why is because Grumpy is very busy. He's working on construction every morning. He's doing his own prayer group. They created a men's prayer group. Granny's doing a women's prayer group in the mornings. Every Tuesday she does a prayer meeting. She's doing her Bible working. So overall, they haven't had much time to make YouTube videos. So some very interesting stuff has happened recently over the last couple months. So we've been trying to sell our house, and what Granny and her prayer group asked was for Dad to get a job in South Boston, Virginia at a Food Lion. As it turned out, he actually got a job in a Food Lion in South Boston, Virginia.
Yeah, he did. He got the exact same one that he used to have.
We'll be close to all of our grandparents. They also prayed that we were going to move quickly, and we were able to find a house within 10 days. Now, for granted, we did search very hard for all of those 10 days, but still, we got one very fast, and we are going to be moving into the new house. But until then, we're staying with Granny and Grumpy for almost a week here, and we're gonna be making some videos with Granny and Grumpy.
Yay! So. Videos!
Yep.
So.
However, this is also what I want to tell you. The rest of that little bit of the story was, not only did they get a house, they find a house that is absolutely beautiful. 4 floors. I mean, this is a beautiful place, and it's in the country. So ask God to sell their house in Florida as quickly as possible. And they sold the house just a couple days ago. And so Nikki on Sabbath will be going to Florida so that her and the kids can get this house finished packing up and move it off, the property, so that the people who have purchased it will be able to get there and have a wonderful life. So we love you. We thank you for watching us, and please be with us. We'll see you later. See you at the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.